Well, it's May and I have the latest figures and news to share with you to keep you as up to speed as possible with what's happening in the housing market both nationally and locally here in Spokane. My name is Phil Wells. I'm a real estate agent who likes to keep up to date with the market, and I like you to be as informed as possible too. In this video, we're going to take a look at pending home sales for March, as well as mortgage applications and mortgage rates as well. We'll also look at some real estate news articles that stood out to me recently. We'll then try put it all together at the end and see if we can make sense of it all. Let's get into it. Looking first at national figures for pending home sales in March. So why do we look at pending home sales rather than closed sales? Well, it takes about 30 to 45 days to close on a deal, so closed sales from March would represent activity back in January, February time, whereas pending sales for March give us the most up-to-date impression of where the market's heading. A pending home sale is exactly what it sounds like. It's a home that's had an offer accepted on it, or in some other way has ended up in escrow waiting to transfer ownership. Contract signings improved 1.9% month over month in March, and year over year contract signings jumped 23.3%. We are obviously comparing March 2021 here to March 2020, and we all know what happened in March 2020, everything ground to a halt including real estate sales. Where I am in the West region, the index increased 2.9% in March month over month, and up 29.8% from the year prior. For the next few months, I really don't think prior year comparisons are going to be that valuable, but I'll keep mentioning them. Lawrence Yun, the National Association of Realtors chief economist, said, "The increase in pending sales transactions for the month of March is indicative of high housing demand." This is pretty obvious, but it is really worth monitoring demand when it comes to doing something like listing your home for sale, for example. Here in Spokane, there are more deals getting done, but inventory is still very low. This must, of course, mean that more homes are being listed, but demand is such that these homes are going off the market very rapidly. I'm seeing this personally as my clients are commenting to me that there does seem to be a bit more to choose from. So are we going to see more inventory to satisfy this demand? As the National Association of Realtors chief economist goes on to say, low inventory has been a consistent problem, but more inventory will show up as new home construction intensifies in the coming months, as well as from a steady wind down in the mortgage forbearance program. Although these moves won't immediately replenish low supply, they will be a step forward. That's great positive news for all the frustrated home buyers out there. Looking now at mortgage rates. It can be difficult to keep track of what's happening with mortgage rates, particularly when you're being bombarded with radio ads and TV ads all the time talking about interest rates. So what's actually happening with the numbers? Sticking with March for a second, mortgage rates at the start of March were 3.22%, and by the end of March, they were at 3.42%. So a mild jump in the month of March. I am able to give you up-to-date figures for mortgage rates, and rates today, May 10th, as I'm recording this, have dropped since the end of March to 3.03%. So this is likely to fuel buyer demand even more. Anything around a 3% rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is an incredible rate. Sticking with mortgages for a second and looking at mortgage application rates. It doesn't matter what rates are if nobody's applying for a loan. This is a huge leading indicator for the overall housing market. So let's head over to the Mortgage Bankers Association and see what the experts have got to say. Joel Can is an associate vice president at the MBA, and he said, "There was a mixed bag of action in the mortgage market last week. Mortgage rates were slightly higher, refinance applications were essentially unchanged, and purchase applications fell for the second straight week." He continued by saying both conventional and government purchase applications declined, but average loan sizes increased for each loan type. This is a sign that the competitive purchase market, driven by low housing inventory and high demand, is pushing prices higher and weighing down on activity. The higher prices are also affecting the mix of activity, with stronger growth in purchase loans with larger than average balances. In reference to refinances, he said an increase in conventional refinances was offset by a decline in government refinances. The 30-year fixed rate was up slightly to 3.18% on March 5th, which is still 22 basis points lower than a year ago, but higher than it was between mid-2020 and February 2021. So again, we're seeing evidence of strong buyer demand coupled with low inventory here. Purchase prices are rising as a result of this demand, evidenced by the higher than average loan values. Now I wanted to take the time to look at a few news articles that have stood out to me recently and what they're saying about the market. Looking briefly at Redfin housing market updates. Let's see, housing market mayhem. US home sales are likely to hit record high of $2.5 trillion in 2021. Demand for second homes is more than double pre-pandemic levels. Housing market update. New records set for prices, competition, and speed. Searches for homes in suburbs up from before the pandemic in most major metros. Housing market update. Home prices climb to new heights as spring brings little relief to buyers awaiting a supply boost. Newly built homes make up 26% of all single-family home sales. That's an interesting one and really supports what the National Association of Realtors chief economist was saying about home construction helping out the inventory supply there. Let's take a look at this one. Straight away, a couple of things that are jumping out to me here. A record high 21% year-over-year growth in the median home sales price. A record low of just 19 days on market, which is down 16 days from the same period in 2020. That's huge. A record high of 48% of homes sold for more than their list price. 58% of homes went under contract within the first 2 weeks, and 45% of homes went under contract within the very first week. Looking now at my local market here in Spokane, fortunately we get data on closed sales here really quickly, so that data is really valuable here, and that's what we'll look at now. So as you can see, what's happening here in Spokane reflects what's happening nationally almost exactly. Sales are up 20.5% in April 2021 when compared to April 2020, which of course was the height of the lockdown, so we expect to see sales up. Median home prices are up dramatically, inventory is down, and new listings are up. So that's fantastic news. We are seeing more properties coming on the market here in Spokane. However, when they are hitting the market, they are going off the market very quickly indeed. Now let's try piece all this information together. We have an increased number of pending home sales nationally. We have prices up, competition up, loan values up, and record speeds for contract signings. As the economist from the National Association of Realtors said, we clearly have extremely strong buyer demand here. And I hope he's right about more inventory coming along soon. More homes for sale are clearly needed to bounce out this market. With mortgage rates back down to around 3%, buyer demand, in my opinion, doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. So if you are planning on selling, right now is a great time to get top dollar for your home. That's it for this video. I hope you gained from this video. If you did, please leave me a like and subscribe as well. That really helps me out. If you are in the Spokane area and you're looking at listing your home for sale or buying a home here in Spokane, then please reach out to me and I'd be honored to work with you. Like I said, my name is Phil Wells and thanks for watching.